What's up, everybody? My name is Tucker. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some NBA players that, in my opinion, should be traded. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like rating on it. Check out my socials in the description as well. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we talked about this briefly in a different video, but it needs to be mentioned again, as New Orleans is now, as of the recording of this video, like 1-9 or something absolutely atrocious from a record standpoint. Brandon Ingram. And I put Zion here as well, but mostly we're talking about Brandon Ingram here. And it's not that Brandon Ingram isn't playing well. It's not that he's a bad player. It's not that he hasn't developed. It's just it's a disaster of a situation. I mean, the world is burning in New Orleans right now. There's just absolutely no upside of this group. There's no signs of a good basketball team here. Zion returning is not going to turn this team from a 1-9 team into a 500 team, as good as Zion is, because, you know, he has his own health issues right now and injury issues, and it's just not a good place to be. And this is going to be a clear house situation for New Orleans, certainly in the front office, potentially with the coaching staff as well, even though they literally just hired this coach. And they might as well clear the roster as well, because these future picks and things like that they have are not going to do them any good if they're truly this bad. And at this point, like, what's the point of paying Brandon Ingram $35 million a year as like a 24-year-old to score 25 points a game and win one out of every 10 of your games? There's no point. There's literally no point. I've seen enough. Blow it up, do something different, move the team. I don't care. It's as much of a disaster as you can possibly be in the NBA. That's where New Orleans is at right now. Next up, Marvin Bagley. This is such a strange situation. I don't get it. I don't understand. Just move the guy. If you're not going to play him, what's the point of having him on the roster? You're just going to let him become an unrestricted free agent after he was the second pick in the draft in front of Luka and Trae Young? Like, apparently they had trade offers last year and over the summer, and they just decided to keep him. Wouldn't you rather, even if it's a random player and a second round pick, wouldn't you rather have that than have Marvin Bagley not play, probably causing issues in terms of just being unhappy? I don't understand the mindset. Like, what are you waiting on? Are you waiting on Marvin Bagley sitting on the bench to raise his trade value? Like, I don't understand. You're waiting on maybe an injury, and then a team really needs a big and they trade for Bagley, but there's plenty of bigs around that they don't really need to make a move for someone like Bagley. I don't get this one at all. Someone explain this to me, how waiting around to make a move that they're going to have to make at some point. It's very obvious that Marvin Bagley's not staying in Sacramento long term. I don't understand what the holdup is. I don't understand what they're waiting on. Just go ahead and move the guy, please. Next up, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the team that I was kind of excited for coming into the year. I'm not saying that the sky is falling. This is more of like a circumstantial thing. So when you watch Minnesota games, I wouldn't blame you if you kind of forget that DAngelo Russell's on the floor. He was supposed to be the guy that they brought in alongside Collin Sexton, was going to bring a lot of excitement to this group, and he just doesn't have it. I don't know if it's a health thing. He was very good in Brooklyn the year that he made the All-Star team as an injury replacement, but he was never like a true All-Star type guy. And then I think that reputation kind of went with him through his next couple of stops in the league. And it's clear that it's Anthony Edwards and it's Karl-Anthony Towns right now. And D'Lo's just kind of there. He struggled last year. And towards the end of the year when they were playing well, the success came with DAngelo Russell as a sixth man and not playing, not necessarily a sixth man in the true sense of the term, but like not playing 30 minutes a game, but playing in small spurts and scoring the ball well and facilitating, and then letting Anthony Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns be the primary guys. And basically, as this relates to a trade, is if the Timberwolves continue to struggle, I think it's probably time to move D'Lo somewhere. I don't know if there are teams that are very excited about DAngelo Russell. That's a question mark. I don't know. But it's just so clear that the hierarchy here has shifted, and when that happens, it's awkward, and it's especially awkward when the guy that's lower on the totem pole is making $30-something million a year. So I've not given up on Minnesota. I still think they have a chance to be a play-in team this year. It's a tough conference. I actually think they've finally figured out the head coaching thing for the first time in a very, very long time, which is a huge positive. But strictly from a roster standpoint, like if DAngelo Russell is going to be a 14-point-per-game scorer and make $35 million a year, it might be better just for the health of the team to move him, get some value, and just let Anthony Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns be the guys like they've been already. Because they've got other scorers, you know, they got guys like Malik Beasley and things like that, where it wouldn't be a huge loss to get rid of D'Lo and get something back in exchange. Just kind of a thought I had that maybe just cleaning things up a little bit would be helpful for Minnesota. But again, haven't given up on them. I still think they can make the playoffs, or excuse me, the play-in game. We'll kind of see what happens for them the rest of the year. Next up, Collin Sexton. This one might be weird because the Cavs are good. Like, the Cavs are an above 500 team. They have some impressive wins, including most recently against the Knicks. But Collin Sexton doesn't really have anything to do with why this basketball team is good. When you watch them, the best stretches for them are Darius Garland creating, some Ricky Rubio stuff sprinkled in, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley in the front court, occasional Lauri Markkanen and playmaking. It doesn't have anything to do with Collin Sexton. And when they finish games, and they finish games well, Collin Sexton's not on the floor. It's a really weird situation where if you, 2 years ago, someone had told you that Cleveland was good to begin the season, you would have assumed, oh man, I bet Sexton and Garland are averaging 50 points a game combined. No, that's not what's happening at all. I don't think they have a 20-point per game scorer on their roster. It's defense. It's timely and efficient playmaking from guys like Garland and Rubio. And yeah, Collin Sexton is scoring here on occasion, but he's not much more than just like a six-man type guy for this roster, and he's going to want to get paid like someone that is much more important than that to their basketball team. And if you can get something out of him and not have to pay him and let it just be the Garland, Allen, Mobley show, I would jump at that opportunity. This is a strange one. There might be Cavs fans that disagree with this, but I don't think that they're a worse basketball team if they move Collin Sexton and get a decent wing or something out of it. I really legitimately don't think that they're any worse, because just all the positives for them defensively, the front court being really good, Garland taking a step forward, have absolutely nothing to do with Collin Sexton. So that's a weird one. I hesitated to put it on here, but I honestly believe that they would probably be better off if they just went ahead and moved him. Last up now, Danilo Gallinari. The Atlanta Hawks started the year hot, haven't been so great lately. They've got a variety of struggles, none of which I'm overly concerned about. But from a trade standpoint, they've got two wings in Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter that are very, very clearly the future of this group and the present in certain ways as well. I mean, DeAndre Hunter has taken a leap. He looks fantastic. Cam Reddish has all the potential in the world still. And that's pretty much all you need. I mean, between those two guys and Herter and Young and Bogdanovich, like Danilo Gallinari is very clearly the odd man out here. He's got a non-guaranteed contract for next season. And like once they started re-signing guys and they re-signed Capella, it kind of seemed like the writing was on the wall that Gallinari was not going to be with this team long-term, considering the wing depth that they have. And he's a player that has been traded a lot throughout his career, but you could certainly get value out of. There are postseason teams that don't have the same level of wing depth that Atlanta does that I'm sure would really like to have Danilo Gallinari on their roster. A team like Miami comes to mind that would like to have, another wing that they can put out there that can score for them a little bit. He's obviously not going to defend incredibly well, but he gives you decent size. And this is just more so like an embarrassment of riches situation for Atlanta, where unless you're packaging like Reddish and picks and stuff to go out and get a star alongside Trae Young, you don't need this many wings. And Gallinari is going to be the odd man out. He's a veteran. He's not going to be happy with playing 15, 20 minutes a game. And as long as everybody's healthy, everybody is going to get prioritized over him. Of course, Trae, but Kevin Herter, Bogdanovich, Reddish, Hunter, all those guys are going to get prioritized over Danilo Gallinari. And given his contract situation and given this roster, I think it makes absolute total sense to go ahead and start exploring Danilo Gallinari trades. Again, he has value, he can shoot, and brings you good size. Amongst these entries on this list, the ones I'm most interested in are probably D'Lo and Collin Sexton, because these are guys that are talented and bring a skill that is certainly desired around the league in terms of shot creation and shot making. But the guard position is really, really saturated across the league. And even though like having that skill set is nice, it's not necessarily a unique one. There's a lot of guys that can score a little bit and play make a little bit. And so even though it might make sense for those two rosters to move on from those backcourt players, they might not end up with a ton of value, which, considering kind of the reputation that I feel like those players bring with them, might be a bit of a surprise if they were to go ahead and move them. And then the Bagley thing, like it blows my mind. I don't have an explanation. I don't understand. Like, the pick was a disaster. They haven't properly developed him. I don't think they put him in a lot of positions to really succeed. I still think he has an incredible amount of talent. And I can't remember a situation like this where a team very clearly has no plans whatsoever for the player and just decides not to move him and literally told him he's not going to be in the rotation, but then also decided not to make a move and get value out of him. It's weird. It's strange, as is pretty much every single scenario here. I mean, the Ingram Zion Pelicans thing is a disaster. Bagley we just talked about. Minnesota's, I wouldn't say it's super weird. You know, they are, best case, they're going to be a 500 team. So where they're at right now, it's not that big of a deal. The Cavs being good is weird, and it not having to do with Collin Sexton is weirder. And then Gallinari, you know, it doesn't really have anything to do with the Hawks' struggles, just they have a really, really good roster. And yeah, let me know down in the comment section below what other players you think should be traded already, just a handful of games into the NBA season. But that is going to be the end of today's video, and I thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, be sure to check out the boxes on screen, check out my socials as well in the description. And yeah, hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.